Right, so I am just back from my most recent lesson, and I thought I'd take a minute just to talk about kind of where my swing is at and where my game in general is at the moment, and kind of how I'm tracking or potentially not tracking against the goals I set at the beginning of the year. So for anyone who's been watching for a while, I set myself a goal at the start of this year to get down from my current handicap level, which is, I think at the time was 16, is now 14.5 to 8. So essentially slashing the handicap in half, and I identified a few key ways that I was planning on doing that, one of which was the technical work on my swing, and under that sort of heading was a few different things I needed to work on. One was my takeaway, which thankfully is in a much better place now. One was stability in my lower body, which definitely still needs some work but is improving. And then one was, or at least I thought was, kind of length of backswing. And so that has been the key focus really for the last couple of lessons, and I've identified a fairly significant flaw in my swing and my movement patterns, or my coach and I have done that, and I think this really is going to be the focus for the next few months, if not longer. If the takeaway issue is anything to go by, we could be talking 9 months until I see improvements, or at least feel like it's kind of semi-fixed. And so today's lesson really was like very, very positive, as the last couple have been, but really shone quite a bright light on how much I need to improve and the level of the flaw that I'm currently seeing. So as you can see on a bunch of the on-course footage I've taken, or even the range footage that I've taken, there's not a lot of width to my swing. There's a tendency for this right elbow to kind of collapse very early on, and everything gets a bit armsy, and there's not really a full shoulder turn, or really what we were looking at today was a chest turn, so keeping the arms and the chest synced up throughout the backswing. And it's this that means it can go very, very long. That's where I'm seeing that overswing from. That's where I'm seeing that kind of loose, wipey shot that I've come to hate so much from. And it's also frankly just where I'm seeing a lot of inconsistency from, because there's not really enough kind of tension in the swing, there's not enough power in it, but there's also too many moving parts with elbow angles and wrist angles and chest angles and back angles. It makes it very hard to find any real consistency. So what I've been working on, or what I'm trying to work on, was initially just length of backswing, shortening it. But today it's kind of a light bulb moment really, which sounds really obvious in hindsight, but it's actually not about just making the arms travel less, but syncing them up with the chest so that they can travel less. Because although I can get my arms to go right behind my back, I can't make my chest go behind my back. Fairly impossible to do that. So if I can sync arms and chest and keep them together, then I can't go as far back. And what it means is that the knock-on effects from that are very, very positive. And my coach often likes to say he kind of gets something for free. If I can fix one thing, then maybe 2 or 3 things down the road improve at the same time. And what I've noticed is that my ability to compress the ball is better, my ability to not come over the top is better, and really my dispersion is better. The session I had today, the lesson, the kind of lateral dispersion of shots was really, really tight. Most of them were drawing 3-5 yards maybe. The worst ones were slightly overdrawing, but actually everything was coming in with a fairly acceptable cone. So that is going to be the focus. I think it's been probably coming on 4 to 5 months now since I felt I've played really well. Had a couple of decent scores in that time, played okay on Boxing Day, played okay at Cleve Hill. Actually first bit of that round played really quite well, but I don't necessarily feel like I've been striking the ball very well. I don't feel like my swing has been very good, even if I've been scoring well. So that is definitely something that I need to feel more confident in. I need to feel like it's more repeatable, more consistent, more dialed in, and really like metaphorically and literally tighter. Things need to be tighter, things need to be more kind of hemmed in, so there's less moving parts and less variability. To that end, I have been using this spoilers. I'm doing a video at the moment about the best training aids in golf, or really can training aids help your golf. One of the ones I've tested is this, and so yeah, spoiler, this is helping. This is a massive thing for me and my coach, and he kind of advised me to start using this. But essentially this kind of pins those arms together and you can't turn back without keeping connected. It's literally called the connector, and also without making that chest go with you. So working with this, what's been really interesting is when I put this in between my arms and swing, I feel like I can only go about halfway back, but then actually when I look at it on video, the furthest I can go with that is the furthest I should be going at all in my swing. It's that kind of left arm just past 90 degrees, and with a nice angle with the wrist, and that's all I want. I don't want a big long John Daly swing. I don't even want to get to parallel. I want to be short of parallel. I want to be short and compact. I know, you can swing it well from lots of different positions, but that's what I want, and that's what, when I'm doing that on the range, I'm seeing good results from. So I'm really happy with the lesson. I'm really happy with my coach, as I mentioned before. Quick plug for the video I've done previously on how effective golf lessons really are, if you've not watched that yet. And so I just want to kind of take a little confessional moment to check in about that. It's been a few months of fairly bad golf. Thankfully now we're coming into spring. The weather today is glorious, which makes everything feel a little bit brighter. But really this is something that I need to take kind of seriously for the next few months. Practice time has been hard to come by recently, so I need to get down to the range or even just walk around the house with this squished between my forearms for kind of weeks and months now, to make sure that it starts to feel more instinctive, and see where that gets me, because frankly I feel like I've stagnated. I feel like my game is plateaued, that variability is too high, and if I want to get where I want to get to both this year, in the next few months, and also longer than that, I'm going to need to make these changes fairly quickly and really dial them in a fairly meaningful way. So just to check in for that really, I'm not trying to advise anyone about their particular swing. Everyone's habits, everyone's mechanics are uniquely different, but what's good for me is that through this process and through the lessons, I have been able to identify what I think now, or at least now my takeaway is in a better position, is probably my major swing fault and the thing that is holding me back from getting where I want to be this year. And the good thing is I've developed a couple of drills and found a training aid that I think is going to help me work on that. So that will be the focus. I will document that obviously in videos to come, and also in my next course vlog. I hope everyone enjoyed the first in the Break 85 series, and there should be another one coming along very soon. If you have any thoughts, questions, not swing tips, please, or just comments about maybe what your swing faults are, or what you've discovered about your game, or just how you think I'm going about tackling this and my improvement journey, then please do leave them in the comments. The lessons have been good. The lessons have done a lot for me, and I think finding a coach with a long-term plan, finding the kind of 3 or 4 things that were the biggest priorities, the biggest required fixes for me, has been really significant. I think we've ticked one box off, which has been great. The takeaway, there is going to be a whole lot more to come down the road. I know that, but I think I can at least find comfort in the fact that although I'm playing badly at the moment, I know the number one reason why, and I think if I can start to make some headway with this, should start to see scores come down, or at least the range of scores come down, and long term that should result in lower handicaps and better rounds, or at least that is the hope. And as I say, we will see over the coming weeks and months as I do more course vlogs and more videos. So please do stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, drop a like if you would, and I will catch you on the next one.